What do you believe? The change in the world order is coming or no?
I think there's a change in world order coming. I think we're already seeing a change in world order. I think that 10 years ago, the world was unipolar, meaning it had one superpower and everybody fell under that superpower 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now it's a bipolar world. There's an Eastern power and a Western power. That Western power is still led by the United States. And it's still very ideological, meaning it's very focused on democracy. It's very focused on equality. It's very focused on, gender rights and work rights and taxation and representation. But then there's the other half of the world, the Eastern half of the world, that's very pragmatic. They don't care about your ideology. You want to have a democracy? Fine. You want to have an autocracy? Fine. You want to have a monarchy? Fine. What matters to the East is that we have economic trade, that we all work in a way that makes us all wealthier and richer and more stable. That practicality is a very strong, very attractive alternative to what has historically been the United States forcing its ideology upon everyone. The United States has fought more wars and lost more wars over its ideology than it ever did before. Vietnam, failed ideology. Gulf I, Gulf II, failed ideology. Afghanistan, Iraq, failed ideology. We haven't been able to export democracy at the tip of a sword. And we keep losing these major conflicts because of it. I understand that the governments say that we won. All the soldiers know we didn't win. But this practical, pragmatic approach that was originally started by Brazil, Russia, India, and China has now grown. Now there's 13 members of the BRICS community. Many of them have always traditionally been allies to the United States, like Saudi Arabia. You've got these countries that are realizing we don't have to follow your ideology to be economically powerful. And that bipolar shift that's happened in the last 10 years is not slowing down. It's speeding up.
Yeah.
Right? The BRICS countries have greater value for their currency, meaning they can buy more from the grocery store than they ever did before. And the purchase price parity, the amount of groceries the US dollar will buy against the amount of groceries any of the BRICS currencies will buy, has very clearly been changing, where American dollars buy you less at the grocery store and the Indian currency buys you more at the grocery store. That's unignorable. And yet somehow the average American ignores it.
Which country do you think has a fair shot of leading this new change which is going on in the world?
So
China, Russia, India, I think these are the three frontiers. I don't
absolutely.
think there's anyone else.
Yeah. What I anticipate happening, so China's leading it. China is leading it through the lens of anti-Western sentiment. That's their ideology, essentially, right? Hey, the United States has been abusive. The United States has been manipulative. The United States has undermined you and they forced you to follow a certain ideology. We will help you get stronger, but you don't have to agree with us. You don't have to be communist. You don't have to use our currency. You don't have to agree with Xi Jinping. But we're an alternative, right? China's leading the charge because it has the wealth to compete against the United States. It has that wealth because it stole technology from the West. It has that wealth because it was focused on growing its military and growing its telecommunications infrastructure while the United States was fighting a war on terror. It didn't get that wealth organically, but that's kind of irrelevant. They did what they had to do, and now they are a power to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
But as that pragmatic world kind of grows, China will be less of a manufacturer. They'll be they'll be the head of the new body, but not the heart of the new body. So who will be the heart of the new body? I think that will be India. Because I think India is already poised to manufacture more. It's already poised to take in more investment than any other country because it's lacking in infrastructure, it's lacking in manufacturing base, but it's got an incredible amount of people, an incredible amount of land, and it has very flexible policy because Indian leadership, generation after generation, Indian leadership understands that to serve all Indians, it needs to be a very wealthy country.
Yeah.
Whereas China has the opposite. China China doesn't think about serving all of the Chinese. It's planning to just let the old Chinese people die and just have a smaller population in the future. Xi Jinping doesn't say that outright, but you can see from their policy, they're not worried about old people dying. They're not worried about their social welfare system. They don't value family the same way that the Indian people value family. So India wants to be big and wealthy. China wants to be smaller and wealthy. The United States has already proven that if you have a civil war, you'll cut your population down by 30%, and now everybody's wealth goes up. So we've kind of set the standard for what China's trying to do, but that puts India in a position where it can benefit from both China and the United States, and India can 100% benefit from the conflict between the Chinese and the United States.
Where do you see India? Do you see India supporting China or US if there was a war between US and China?
I see India being neutral. I understand that inside India, the politics are very unpredictable, right? Very volatile. And that's because Indian people are very volatile, right? Like, I have yet to meet a calm Indian. It doesn't take much before they get very excited about something, right? So it makes sense that India and their politicians are so volatile internally, because externally, they're very consistent. They're very collective. That's one of the reasons that India continues to be a closer partner to the United States than Pakistan. Pakistan is not consistent. They have radical changes in their promises and their focus and their economics and their military stance. India doesn't. India is very steady, like a train, right? So if there's a conflict between the United States and China, India will serve both sides. India will be very similar to what Switzerland has always been. And I think India models itself off of that neutrality. So when the United States puts sanctions on Russia, India doesn't accept those sanctions. It will still do business with Russia if it's in the best interest of the Indian people. And the United States can complain about it all they want, but India knows, hey, if you don't want to buy from us, that's fine. We have this whole other Eastern bloc that will purchase from us. And the United States goes, oh, well, shucks, we're going to keep buying from India anyways. The United States knows that we are heavily dependent on Indian talent in our tech industry. They can threaten to shut down visas all they want, but there is no country in the world that pumps out intelligent, scholarly, technologically inclined, mathematically inclined engineers like India. So
also English speaking.
And also English speaking. So what are you going to do? You're just going to cut off that whole talent pool because of your ideology? No. So India as a government, and not just the current government, the previous government too, and the next government as well, they understand, like, hey, the United States may make a big noise, but they need us. And India plays that, and they know the same thing's true about China.
थैंक यू सो मच ये क्लिप एंड तक देखने के लिए. अगर आपको और भी ऐसी क्लिप्स देखनी है तो राज शमानी क्लिप्स चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए.